And it begins. Guys, tonight I'm going to go to the Horror for the Homeless camp out to watch some horror movies and raise some money for charity. If this is your first time hearing about this, I have spoken about it on my live stream, and I also talked about it maybe on Twitter and a few kind of things with you guys. Live streams on Facebook, I believe. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to tonight. It's called Horror for the Homeless, and it's a sleep out extravaganza. So what that means is you pay money for a ticket, the ticket goes to charity, to a homeless shelter, and then you also sleep out for the night while watching horror movies. So the sleep out is obviously meant to show you what it's like to be homeless for the night. They have a few other ones that they do here. This is the first horror based one that they've done. So basically I watch horror movies for charity and I sleep outside for charity. I'm doing this with my friend Isaac, who I'm really excited to go with because, I don't know, he likes cooking movies and stuff. And obviously I'm most excited to see the XX, which you can't see anywhere else in Australia. So this is the perfect opportunity for me. So the gates open at 6:30 and you get in, you make your little camp out place, and then get your snacks, get everything ready, and the movie starts at 7:30 or 7:45, I believe. The first film is the XX, thank God. Then the next film is Scream. The next film after that is the Autopsy of Jane Doe. A film after that is She-Borg Massacre. You heard me right. Later that night, there is The Lost Boys, and then they finish off, I think, around 6 o'clock with The Eyes of My Mother, which I've seen. All of these films are set for She-Borg and obviously XX. They also put a few Australian and foreign, I believe, short films in between all of them, which will be really cool to watch. But right now I'm gonna go get my snacks and get ready for it tonight. So I've got to pack like a blanket, some pillows, a hoodie. Probably won't get cold. It'll probably get to like 20 degrees Celsius here. So it's probably a hot night for you guys. And I need to go get some snacks and some drinks. Very excited, and I wanted to catch you guys up before I went there because it might be madness when we get there. And I hope that you guys will be able to hear me right. We'll figure it out. And I can't wait to share with you guys the experience. I got, this is what we call an esky in Australia. Not sure what you call it. I know you call it in New Zealand chili box. Got some popcorn, got some Diet Coke, got some cups, got some plates just in case. Isaac's bringing a platter. I got these because they didn't have Doritos. And then I have a pillow, I have a blanket, I have a charger, and obviously this is my camera. And then I have comfy clothes, which is jumper, jeans, and shoes. I also have some big socks just in case it gets cold, but it won't. And then water. Ooh, it's gone everywhere. So I'm about to leave now. Young, sweet Emma. I really had no idea what was in store for that night. But basically, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was not a vlogging situation. We got there, we found our camp, and the movies began, and what I didn't really think about beforehand was the fact that the movies would run back to back, and also the fact that we're just surrounded by people who really just want to watch the films, and me talking. Even though we had other people around us talking, I think you guys can appreciate that we didn't want to be those people who are loud, obnoxious, and that you felt like you needed to shush every 5 minutes and took away from your experience. I also had no idea how uncomfortable the night would be, and that is one thing that I think a lot of us take for granted, obviously, is having a roof over our head, and the fact that this is meant to be a situation where you sleep outside all night to feel what it feels like to be homeless. And even in the mid-20 Celsius, I'll put the Fahrenheit right here, that was meant to be that night, I was freezing. You know those big socks that I joked about that I wouldn't need? Well, I needed them because I was fucking freezing, and I'll get into that a bit later. But mostly I did this video because I wanted to explain to you guys how I felt in the moment about XX. But the night didn't start off with XX. Before the first feature, there was some shorts, and there were shorts from Australia and a couple of foreign ones. But the one that stood out that I feel like mentioning is The Man That Caught a Mermaid. And this is an Australian flick. It's kind of twisted. It's got everything you want in a short, to be honest. And I think I can actually link it below. I don't know if you guys can view it in every country, but I'll put the link below and you can watch it. After this, XX began. Guys, fuck. I was told to be really wary about this film because a lot of bad reception was happening. And obviously this is a film that everyone was rooting for, obviously because of the fact that it was like female made, female empowerment, all the leads were female, all the directors were female. The writers weren't female though, but I could see where they were going. Unfortunately, I did not feel it was a comprehensive film, and some people said that it reminded them of Southbound. I have to agree, but the thing about Southbound actually happened in the same universe, where this one is just completely odds and ends. And it started off with a short, The Box, which is actually written by Jack Ketchum, who did The Girl Next Door, which is a film that I've definitely talked about. It's probably in my most disturbing films because it is a really fucked up film. So I was expecting, when I saw his name come up, I was like, this is gonna be sick. And let me tell you, it was sick. The story was well done, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys because there's not a lot of depth I can go in because it is only short films. It's an anthology film, so there's only short little bits. So with this one, something happens in a family and it's pretty traumatic, but what I want to express to you, spoiler alert, which is not a spoiler really, there is no full circle. There is no reveal, there is no answers to any questions. And what I think a short film is meant to do really well is to take a little bit of time and give you a crazy idea and then kind of like flip it on its head. You don't have to have a twist all the time, but it's meant to be scary in a certain way. You know, like you see someone in your house and you think that's your partner the whole time, and then you go into the room and your partner's hiding under the bed, or do you know what I mean? There's like some kind of reveal, or there's something. You don't always have to have a twist. I shouldn't say that, but I do think that you need to give answers if the answers are needed. And in this story, there was an underlining question the whole fucking time, and the question was never answered, and I felt really cheated for that. So even though the acting was great, the set was great, the production value was great, everything was good, the story lacked in the fact that it should have been a feature, which is like completely opposite to what I say about things like The Greasy Strangler. I don't know if there was enough time there, but the reveal just never happened, so that was kind of a letdown. The next film in this anthology was Birthday Party, I believe it was called. It had some really good casting. It was a quirky, weird story that once again didn't have a lot of answers or questions, didn't explain itself, didn't really follow any logic, but it looked good, it was kind of comedic, and it was kind of quirky. But then again, it was nothing like that was spectacular for what it was. It was just almost like a film clip. It should have been more than a short film because it wasn't really a comprehensive story. After this one came Don't Fall, which is so funny because I've been watching Unreal. Well, I watched the first season, I got sucked into it, long story. But the girl from Unreal, one of the main characters, was actually in this film, and I loved seeing her. So for me, that was such like a interesting part of it. But once again, it was a short film that was kind of creepy. Don't get me wrong, it was very creepy, but it just didn't link up, or it didn't have any like substance or answer or message or anything. I think maybe I'm going too deep with this, but it just didn't thrill me overall because anyone can make like an exciting story if there is no start or end to it. If you just want to put the middle, anyone can make this crazy, you know, tentacle coming out of the ocean. If you don't have to give any answers, what's the point? That's not a story, that's just a film clip. And the last anthology film of XX was Her Only Living Son. This one actually tried to go more into the stories and more into depth, which I really appreciated, but there was just moments missing, and it almost seemed like this short film was made to try and extend to a feature film, so maybe they're going for funding for that. I don't know, it just all seemed a little bit lacking, and I was a little bit disappointed. What was the most disjointed part about the whole thing is the fact that they tried to link them in between by having this stop motion animation thing go through, and it was this really creepy dollhouse, like kind of going throughout this house and doing all these weird things. And although it was creepy and weird, it just did not match the aesthetic of any of the other films. It didn't make any sense really. It was just trying to join it all up, but it was kind of odd. I don't know, the whole experience of XX was kind of a letdown. I really wanted to like it. I'm all for females in film and females in horror. Like, I live for that, and it was kind of sad. So I would not recommend watching it, to be honest, guys. If there were standalone short films, I might recommend Box, but it was too confusing, and I've seen so many other good shorts, and not a great film, guys. So I'm gonna give it a personal score of 3 out of 10. I know, I hate myself too. And I'm gonna give originality score of 5, and scare score I'm gonna give it a 2. Let me know down below if you guys felt my pain with this one. It was very sad because we were all very excited about it. I just didn't like it, but if you liked it, let me know why and explain to everybody else why, because we're all for our own opinions here, and I really like when you guys share that you liked a film that I didn't like and explain why, because people who also think like you might like the film, and I don't want to give it a bad rep if some of you guys like it. So definitely write that down below. After XX, another series of short films ran, and one blew me away, and this is called The Tunnel, and it's a Norwegian short film, and it was amazing. I don't think it is available in most countries yet. I think they're doing like a tour, so it might be available any film festivals you go to. I'll leave a link below just so you know like the details of it, and maybe you can figure out if it's playing near you or if you can see it. The film is really clever. It's kind of like a sci-fi horror. Family is stuck in a gridlock in their futuristic car, and they're going into this tunnel, and there's a reason why they're fucking terrified of it, and I just thought it was really clever. I really don't want to ruin it because I think it's really prime, and if you ever see it playing somewhere, I really want you to watch it and tell me what you think. I was really excited to finally see an original story that had that starting, had that ending, and wrapped around, and also had like a cool kind of twist and interesting idea to it, which is what I felt was lacking from XX and the other shorts I saw that night. After this, the high point of the night, which was Scream. Oh my God, guys, I was too young to experience watching Scream at the theaters, drinking with your friends. So it was just so fun. Me and Isaac just chilling, watching Scream, talking trivia, making fun of the characters, but we're also loving it at the same time. It was really the high point of our night, and it was so fun and energetic, and everyone was like kind of talking and laughing, and I don't know, I felt like a bond, and I'm sure that's what people feel like when they watch like those slashes and stuff in America. Like I feel like, you know, it's so fun to get together with horror people, and I don't get to do that often enough. So that was definitely a high point of the night and my year. After this came another series of shorts, and unfortunately, like XX, they all seemed to lack a little bit for me. They just didn't have any soul to them. They had it was like a weird snapshot in between of our film. It wasn't the start, it wasn't the end, it was just like the scary part. So there's nothing I really want to mention to you. The film that we watched next was The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and I'm not going to talk about that just because I've done a full review on that, and I'll link that below. But I do want to say that it held up really great to a second viewing, and I'll probably give it a third one because I really like that film, and I forgot how much I like that film. Sometimes you need a film to play in front of you where you have no control, like a TV movie. Do you ever notice when a movie comes on TV that you have on DVD, you'd much rather watch it on TV and watch it through the ads? I don't know why, but it's there, it's in front of you, and then you remember how much you like it. That's how I felt about that. After that, Sheborg Massacre played. And this is an Australian film, and I hate to say anything bad about Australian films because hello, I don't want to do anything bad to my industry. This film is made by the same people who did Murder Dome, which is like a roller derby horror movie that was quite kitschy and quite like insane here. I watched a couple of years ago at like a horror fest. I thought it was good for what it was. It's like a, you know, indie horror movie. Sheborg Massacre, not a fan. Isaac and I were like, what is going on? It was a lot, and it was bad acting, it was just bad production, it was just everywhere, and I can understand things being kitschy and fun, but it was like trying to take itself too seriously in parts that I couldn't get into that kitschy funness, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. By now it's 3 AM, and I've never been so cold in my life. I didn't realize how cold it could get outside on the ground. After going to the bathroom for the 3rd time to put my hands and body under the hand dryer to warm up, I thought it might be time to call it quits. I'm only saying this because I'm trying to be honest, guys. I could easily have lied, but instead of watching the final films, Isaac and I decided to leave. It was 3 o'clock. I had seen the last 2 films, which was The Lost Boys and Eyes of My Mother, which I have a review for Eyes of My Mother, which I'll leave down below. And Lost Boys I watched like a week before, so I didn't feel the need to watch it. I wasn't really missing out on much more, and we had already given money to charity, so I hope you guys can forgive us. I've definitely learned how to pack for this. If I was to do it again, I would not pack how I packed this time. It was definitely an experience though, an experience I will not forget anytime soon. You guys, we are so lucky to have a roof over our heads, and obviously this is not sponsored at all. I just want to convey that message that I'm very grateful that I can watch these movies, but I'm very grateful that at 3 AM when I feel like I'm gonna get a cold and I don't feel good and this movie is being really intense and the people behind me are talking and screaming, I can come home to my warm bed, and I feel like we should all be more grateful for that. So give thumbs up to this video if you feel grateful for your surroundings, and remind yourself, you're lucky every day, and I'm lucky as well because you guys are here. So if you enjoyed this weird type video, please give it a thumbs up. I just wanted to tell you guys how I felt and kind of bring you along with me a little bit. And I hope you enjoyed my review of XX. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you very soon. Stay spooky, guys. Bye.